the Last Standee, a board gaming podcast brought to you from 3 exciting countries across Europe. I'm Alessio, your host today, and I'll be joined here by, actually not really here, but somewhere across Europe. I'm joined by Cara.
Hello.
And Alexis.
Hi.
Okay, I hope
Alexis
for a bit,
lives.
yeah, woohoo! a bit more raucous. We are getting back one member of the team, one founding member. So I will be talking about board games, role-playing games, sort stuff, whatever. So we will start with the usual Standee catch-up, and we'll begin with Alexis, I think. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've started a new job, and I've been quite busy because of that. But pretty good stuff overall. I've been able to play some Kingdom Death recently. I've been slowly going through a campaign with the Red Witches and the Paria. It's been really fun, really enjoyable. And later today, I'm going to talk about a little lore book that I've found. There is some pretty cool RPG stuff. What about you, Cara?
With the snow melting, my hay fever is starting to act up. That's great. And so I'm really sorry if I'm sniffing a little bit. And I have managed to get my partner to join my new online role-playing group. So yesterday we made a character, and Friday will be the first session together, which
okay.
I'm really excited for.
Whatever keeps you away from Ark Nova is fine. No, that's not real life. Especially Ark Nova or Board Game Arena, that's not real life. It's now it plays out.
Okay. But I like Board Game Arena.
Yeah, I do, but it's not like having the real board game. I mean, the good thing about Ark Nova there is that the game state as a readable until you get to mid game, and you don't care on Board Game Arena, but you would on a real table. So that's not real life.
Yeah. But I mean, we are playing the role-playing game also online, so it's all kind of also not real.
No, thank you, Roll20. Yeah.
So, and that's mostly it. Still enjoying my nice new water bottle, and
yeah, still the same.
It's still the same. I thought about buying a second one, but haven't done it yet. So anyway, what about you, Alessio?
Oh, I have nothing to say. Let's move on. No, okay. I have at least one interesting bit of news. I'm always trying. I have a wife who doesn't enjoy a lot. I don't think she doesn't enjoy board games. I think that she doesn't enjoy me talking a lot about board games. So I guess that it means that the game night are usually with friends for casual games and stuff. I found a game which is perfect for the family. So it's Ziggurat, which is a 2025 game. I could have visuals. I think it's close by, so I'm trying to. I got, like I said, Ziggurat, this thing, which is a legacy game by Rob Davio and Matt Leacock, so the ones behind Pandemic Legacy, among other stuff. And it's a very cool game of a short legacy campaign of 6 games. Actually 6 episodes, probably a bit more games. I haven't played it yet because what's the thing? I'm playing a legacy game with the family. That could be cool, but it could also be a waste. So when the game came out, it was about €50, $50 or whatever, and I decided, okay, it's too much for an experiment. So I waited it for a bit, and I finally managed to get it at $20, which is that's a wholesome price for a legacy game. So you can basically go wild on it, put stickers, destroy stuff, and except that I cannot force myself to destroy a game. So once again, I'm just photocopying everything, printing the stickers again, and making stuff so that I can restart the game. And I don't know why, because I won't play it anyway after we completed it. But this is a prison of my own making, so to say. So I'm basically waiting to play the game, to print stuff, to reset the game after we play, which is crazy. I waited so much for playing it, and now that it got it with a big discount, it's still not played. So that's the craze of the week, I guess. So I guess we are on a tight schedule. So I think we can start. Do we have any volunteers? First topic of the day.
I'm happy to start.
Okay, let's go Bubzium. Go you, Alexis.
So, Bubzium is an RPG lore book. So, you might have listened to a previous episode of ours where I talked about Vermis, or you might have seen it online.
I was there.
So, a lore book is basically a new kind of RPG book that specifically talks about the world and the lore without giving actual game mechanics. There's no stats, there's no rules, there's nothing, but there's enough ideas about the world that you can envision some scenarios with it, or to try to play a campaign with it, or simply to just have a couple of ideas that you can integrate in a later campaign in another game, or just to read because they are pretty cool. So Bubzium is a very strange one. The artwork is very inspired by H.R. Giger, and the idea is that it describes a post-apocalyptic world after an event in which a cursed sun rose on Earth and basically turned the entirety of the planet into a mass of plasmic biomass, constantly morphing and creating weird mutants that are all strange different species. Well, there's no real species. All of them are like completely different strains of new creatures. So you could encounter a biomechanical car that is an actual living thing, or your weapon would be one. And there are those massive giant beasts that roam the land where they have cities inside. The whole world is like this kind of a Cronenbergian biopunk with Geiger ideas. It would be a perfect setting to play a Morkborg campaign in it, or I could see some UVG rules being used to represent a world like this. Something that leaves the player with a lot of freedom in how they're going to approach their characters. And even if you don't play with it, the artwork and the world is very cool. It's this kind of hopeless, weird body horror things, but there's also a good deal of absurdism in the way that it's told. So there's a little bit like a H.R. Giger, where sometimes some elements are quite weird and strange in his stories. In his artworks. Quite interesting. It's published by Holopress, and it's written by Bartosz Zaskowski, I believe that's how it's pronounced, who is a Polish author, and the book also implements some weird little cultural and folkloric Polish ideas here and there, but morphed within this strange biopunk thing. So, big recommendation for me. I've been enjoying reading it, and I've already been thinking about ways to implement it in some Morkborg campaign that I will be playing soon.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm wandering through the Holopress website, I can see when you say Giger inspired. Yes, I, yeah, I'm watching the lot of the body horror art. There's a lot. Okay. I can see. Well, they are at it again, I guess. It's I if I get it correctly, these lore books are mostly done by Holopress, right?
Holopress has been kind of at the forefront of the this kind of I don't know fashion of lore books. They published Vermis, and there's been a couple of new authors that have tried to do something with this and explore a little bit of the genre, and it's been quite interesting. I actually got the new one from Plastiboo, the author that made Vermis, who is more futuristic, cyberpunkish ID. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. Do you actually have both books, right? Okay, so I have a question, and this is cool because I can just ask because I don't know. I just know what I see, and I checked after the last episode. I checked Vermis personally, and that's a cool book. So differences from Vermis, except settings. I I can tell from what I see here about Bubzium that Vermis had a bit of more game-like. It looked like a game guide. Uh, in this case, no, I see just it is most like a 90s source book for some campaign settings in an RPG, right? It's
Yeah,
not that gamey.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vermis book felt more like a guidebook for some forgotten King's Quest or Dark Soul kind of game. It had a little bit more of an video gamey ID, and was telling you about the world in a kind of guiding you where to go to actually complete a weird, strange story / adventure. Here, it's much more like a sourcebook, as you said. But every time that they tell you about some elements of the world, they usually ask some question or tell you about rumors and give you different and contradictory IDs. For example, there's those holes in the world that can be crawled into to land into some places. They act a little bit like portals, but they might also be parts of a larger mutant being. And there's just some IDs that you kind of can pick whatever you choose and let your imagination run wild with them. It is quite fun.
Yeah, the artwork is kind of between HR Giger, but written for a Commodore 64 video game, right?
I
Cool.
get it.
Yeah, and one thing, I'm looking at the website and I see something that looks like a cassette tape, which is also in the video.
Yes, they unfortunately that's only for the premium edition, but I believe that it's some music that they recorded and that is also available on Bandcamp to try to capture kind of the weird, strange mood of it.
Okay, for our young listeners, once upon a time, we had this thing which was like having Spotify but locally on your home, and it was dedicated to just one author or a band, and it was a cassette tape that you exchanged. It's like a floppy disk. Now, for the young readers, the floppy disk is kind of like of a CD-ROM, which is but stored way less data. Now, for the young readers, CD-ROM. Okay, we won't stop with this. Okay,
I'm definitely learning right now that body horror isn't my kind of thing.
Ooh, yeah, definitely don't check that if you don't like body horror and just strange organic bits everywhere.
Yeah, Alexis is our expert here. He's the resident expert about horror-esque settings. Anyway, I think I got the Poland. It's like
Yes.
Poland, but Apocalyptic Poland, because the author
Yeah.
is Sarkowski. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a Polish book with some Polish elements here and there, and it's quite interesting. But yeah, that's about it for Bubzium.
Yeah.
I do want to quote this one thing that you shared here, because I really like this. The presence of a dog will permanently reduce your levels of suffering, anger, and desire for violence. Yes, totally true.
The one with the sphincters. Yeah, this
What?
is a dog. There is a dog here with. I think it's the 8th page in the preview. There is this dog with sphincters, with a coat.
I just know the 3 pages. Alexis shared in our Discord. I don't want to know anymore. I like dogs.
It's just below the sentence you quoted. Anyway, I can understand that you are negating. Okay, you are in denial, Cara. Anyway, this is it. I think 18 euros. I see, taxes included. Yeah, great. So
it was my Christmas gift actually, but I only received it a couple of weeks ago because it took quite a long time to arrive. I think that they were a bit swamped around Christmas.
Tell you what, if there's no Terrorscape 2 before Halloween, next Halloween, I'll get this and make a setting for a one-shot adventure at some role-playing game. Okay. Thank you, Alexis. I think this is all.
Yeah, with pleasure.
Okay, so, Cara, do you feel like you do the honors, or I go with everything?
Yeah, sure. I can do things. So I want to talk about a worker placement game called Neta-tanka. It came out. Oh, it's been a while.
3-4
2019.
years ago. Oh, so much.
Yeah. 7 years ago. It was a Kickstarter game. I had never heard of this game, and one day I was in Cologne in a board game store. And it's a really cramped store, piles and piles of games everywhere, and and they had one pile of just games they wanted to get rid of, so they were heavily discounted, and on the top this game was Neta-tanka, the deluxe edition, meaning it was the Kickstarter version, and I thought, wow, that looks really interesting from the cover art, and I checked the backside and saw, worker placement, with some kind of soft co-op. It's a competitive game, but borrowing from the whole hard co-op
Like
terminology.
Paleo. Like Paleo, yeah.
I mean, Paleo is cooperative.
Yeah, it is fully cooperative. So how is it not as...
How is it competitive? Yeah.
This one is competitive. I'd say it has soft cooperative elements.
Okay.
I'll get to this in a moment. So I bought it, I tried it out, and I really liked it. And it's a worker placement game for 1 to 4 players. The deluxe edition has components for a 5th player in it, and plays reasonably fast. I have full disclosure, I've only played it solo, and I can play a solo game in half an hour. It has some interesting aspects. The game is played over a set number of turns. The more players you have, the more turns you play. But you have less workers per player. In each turn, you go around a table, everyone places one worker, and then the next player, and you go round and round until everyone has placed all of the workers. And then in player order, every player resolves all of their actions. So in the first phase, you place one worker every time it's your turn, and then when it's your turn, you activate all workers at once. So you don't activate one, then the next player activates one. No, you activate all your workers at once. You can choose in which order you want to activate your workers. The whole story is the players are chiefs of different clans inside the Frost River tribe, and this tribe has a couple of elders and one top elder that basically leads the whole tribe together. And it's time to choose a new Neta-tanka, he's called, and now you as the chiefs of the different clans compete for this position, which also means that it wouldn't really fit the whole backstory if you actually worked against each other, because you're all part of the same clan, and it's about showing, hey, I'm most suited to lead the whole clan, or lead the whole tribe, and not just your own clan. In the end, it's like who has the most points. You get points by constructing tents, by providing food for your clan, by crafting different stuff like drums and bows and clothes, or by building a totem pole as high as possible, and also by collecting looking for the word, generosity. Generosity tokens equal.
We lost you for a minute, Cara.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. As I said before, I occasionally have disconnects. The recording just continues, so listeners don't notice anything. Collecting generosity tokens. Generosity is equal to victory points. And here we get to the soft co-op side, as I like to call it. On the game board, which is like the village of this tribe, you have different locations where you can get different resources, or where you can spend the resources to build a tent or put stuff on your totem pole or whatever. But some of these resources are not simply available. You can't just go and get meat. If you want to get meat, you have to hunt a buffalo. But hunting a buffalo is a different spot than butchering the buffalo. And when you butcher a buffalo, you don't take all the resources it generates. So you do leave stuff for other players. And so there are spots where you yourself don't immediately have a lot of return of investment, basically, but overall you need to do this, otherwise no one gets any resources. Same with wood. There is a spot to collect wood, but to collect wood someone had to chop down trees, so that's an aspect I really like. It leads to some cooperation. It's still about you want to do better than the others, but someone has to do it. And
that's quite fun. So I assume that it creates some kind of some people will play more with some resources, while other will play on others, and so there's some little not professionalism. Looking for the term in English. Anyway, there's some specialization for each player.
I would assume it. Again, I've only played it solo, but just going from how the whole resource economy and action economy works, most action spots only allow one worker in them. And with the limited actions you can do over the course of the game, you do have to specialize in some way. Obviously, I'd assume that, sure, your first worker you place will not be to hunt a bison, because you will hope that someone else does it. So maybe you put your worker in a spot for butchering the bison in the hopes that someone else will hunt it. But when it's time to place your last worker and no one decided to hunt a bison, well, maybe you should then go hunt it yourself. Also, action spaces are linked. And if you have workers in two basically adjacent action spaces, you get a bonus. Which also lends to the whole, specialize in something, because, of course, action spaces next to each other revolve around the same stuff.
Activity.
And doing that gives you extra bonuses, whereas spreading out will not give you any links. Yeah, and that's mostly the game. There is very little randomization. There is one action space, like a small trading dock where canoes arrive, and each turn a different tile is flipped, showing what you can basically trade there now. And so that is randomized. And the crafting recipes, there are 3 different things to craft: drums, bows, cloves, but it's randomized what is available. Basically every time, at every given point, there are 5 cards available, and they come in 3 different levels, giving a different amount of victory points and costing a different amount of resources each. So there is a little bit of randomization, but the most stuff, especially getting resources, is pretty fixed, which is interesting for solo play, because in solo play, the game does something I really appreciate. I've talked about it before. I don't like solo games or solo modes where you play, you get a certain amount of victory points, and then you look at the table. Oh, I got 73 victory points. That means I'm a useless nobody. That such sucks. Yeah, just tell me did I win or not. And Neta-tanka kind of mixes both. You don't have an opponent, but you get a victory condition card. So the card might tell you, hey, you have to construct 3 tens, build a totem pole of height 8, also provide 6 food for your tribe, and collect 5 generosity points. Then you set out to do this. It creates this, basically puzzle. Yeah. How can I most effectively fulfill these goals? And at the bottom, it gives you 3 different thresholds for victory points: bronze, silver, and gold. And basically, if you fulfill all the conditions, you have enough victory points for the lowest goal. And that means you won. But you can also try to basically do better and not just win, but win with a gold
with a
star.
margin. Yeah.
And so that's kind of interesting. I like that. Deluxe edition. There was a retail edition. I checked. I didn't see it anywhere in retail. I don't think it did too well. I've seen at least on a German eBay like 3 copies people offered, 3 used copies. The deluxe edition has some upgraded components, like instead of a cardboard tiles for the buffaloes, you actually have a small buffalo meeple, and
that's nice.
they do have upgraded resource tokens, which is super weird. Because as far as I can tell, in the regular edition, the resources are wooden discs.
That's already usually the premium option.
Yeah, and they have basically a brown disc for wood, a tan disc for hide, a red disc for meat, a violet disc for mushrooms, and a white disc for skulls. The deluxe version has upgraded resource tokens, meaning you get like a red meat thingy.
Yeah, and you still have discs for wood.
Then violet mushroom. The skull is, well, the white disc has some like horns or something. So yeah, you might think it could be a skull. And of course, wood and tan are still simply wooden discs.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm looking at them.
Strange.
Yeah, that's super strange. You get also these nice wooden tents.
Ooh.
So that's cute. And the worker meeples are screen printed. They are really nice.
Wow, in that many colors. Yeah.
So I have to say, I've seen few such nice meeples. Yeah, so they are really pretty amazing. And again, it offers components for a fifth player and also an additional spot, like an extra board, whereas a mountain where you can do a pilgrimage to basically pray to the gods for bonuses. But yeah. Overall, I really like the game. I think particularly this idea that, hey, it's competitive, but to a certain degree you do have to work together because different actions build on each other. That's really nice. I'd love to see more of that. And now let's talk about the big buffalo in the room. The theme.
Okay. Can I say some praise about a couple decisions so far, so that it won't leave such a bitter taste in your mouth after that? I just wanted to say that I think I don't know a lot about Neta-tanka, but it went. I do almost daily the contest on BGG to win games. So the one quizzes on the dashboard that you get and you answer the questions. And I won a copy of Smartphone Inc. in my career. So 7 years, you win mostly one game. You participate in all and you win one game. But it works. So I remember watching Neta-tanka when it launched on Kickstarter, and I thought that, wow, this game does nothing new, just reassemble stuff. But I think it's very smart design when you nudge people to play correctly by putting some advantage to that. And I think that the boost on linked actions is very smart because of that. I mean, you want people to specialize, you want people to soft cope, and I think that doing this makes the players want to be there, and do stuff in that. Even if nobody wants to complete the chain, eventually someone will, because if you have a worker there and the other will get a boost, then you will do that. It's smart.
Yeah. Oh, also, particularly these two spots, the one where you hunt a bison and one where you basically chop wood, so others can collect it. They do have an extra twist I should have mentioned. First of all, those two action spaces aren't linked to others. So
you want them
kind
for instance. Yeah.
Hunting a bison, it gives you one generosity point, one victory point. That's basically nothing, and nothing else. So, but there is another action space. And if at the end of the turn you have a worker in this other action space, the worker isn't removed from the board, but moves to hunt a bison in the next turn. So, and these other action spaces are actually pretty good. So, even if no one is willing to basically, give up a worker to provide this stuff for the others, someone will likely want to do one of these other actions and just accept, okay, this worker is basically blocked for 2 rounds, and in the second round,
he
will
he's
then
extremely
hunt.
advantageous. Yes,
Yes.
understood. And if you keep butchering, you keep moving your workers to next turn to hunting the bison, so you maintain a chain. Understood. That's smart. Yes. Like I said, smart.
Yeah, so at first glance, okay, worker placement, but it does really a lot of really nice things, and also like the totem construction. There is a totem board, and it's not just the higher your totem is, the more points you get, but also there is a ranking who has the highest totem, and it's actually, if you have the smallest, you lose points. And it doesn't matter how tall your smallest totem is. If it's the smallest, you will lose points. And which I find really interesting. So it's not like, hey, you need to have at least a totem of this size so you don't lose points. It doesn't matter.
Classic.
It depends. It depends on what are the others doing. So if you are the only one building a totem, great, you will get a lot of points. And
how is it indulged in the solo game, actually? Because you would be the tallest.
In the solo game, it's actually, hey, if you reach this height, you basically switch to the next totem level and get more points for it.
You cannot play on what's the biggest totem solo.
No.
No, you understand how it sounds, right?
Moving on.
The bison in the room.
Yes, the bison in the room.
The bison for the biggest totem.
So, I mean, if you've listened to all of this, you hunt bisons, you construct tents, which are, round like teepees. There are canoes, you build totem poles, and something about the tribe and elders, and Neta-tanka, like from the sound. You might correctly, possibly think
Native
Native
Americans.
So
no.
And that was my first impression also. When I saw it in this board game store, I thought, oh, so nice, a game, with Native American tribe as theme.
Except
this supposedly Native American tribe has Tibetan prayer flags everywhere, and is wearing Inuit clothing. And probably a couple of, I've read about it, there's also like Mongol culture influences in this game and whatnot. So
in the way the tents look, yeah.
So basically, if you start digging deeper, suddenly it's not about a Native American tribe, but it's this indigenous idealized idea of indigenous tribe and collecting stereotypes of different cultures, and it's kind of there is an interesting discussion on Board Game Geek with lots of deleted posts in between. And where also the designer and the publisher have chimed in, and
we deleted posts.
I I get their points, and I think they kind of missed the whole point of the discussion. Yeah. So apparently the designer initially had this idea of creating a game about I think the Lakota tribe. And that's what they pitched, and the publisher said, hey, that sounds really cool, because the designer apparently read a book about the Lakota tribe and thought, hey, that's pretty nice, I want to make a game about that. And during the development of the game, they found that they added mechanics and ideas that didn't really fit this tribe anymore, and so they said, let's just not do an actual tribe, but just create something fictional.
Indigenous, yes.
And yeah, I get the idea. The designer himself also said for him it's like an homage, and they really like these cultures, and they want to, give them more visibility and whatnot. And but they kind of didn't, because what they provide is an idea of a not existing indigenous culture. If I'm being really hard right now, by stealing from actual existing cultures, and that's really sad, because I'm sure, and I know, I've hinted in our Discord, and I'm hinting here now. The next time I will talk about a game that actually does the opposite. They say, hey, no, we use this actually existing culture as a background, and we do it respectfully. So it's possible, and I think it does a lot for a game if it's done in a good way. And I think it does more for a game than what has been done here, which at best leaves a somewhat sour aftertaste. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, that's always a problem with some board games that try to emulate things in the world but don't really want to deal with the actual implications of it. It's also something that we see a lot of in worker placement game. Anything that has to do with the shipping and mercantile history of the world will have issues where they're like you get sugarcane from all the way over there, but we're not going to think about like the implication of that.
Yeah. Interesting is also, during this discussion, I have to say it's not a field where I'm too versed in it. I come from from STEM sciences. Social sciences isn't my forte. So sorry if I'm not very good at explaining things, or I might miss some details here, but I'm pretty sure the general thing is right. Someone tried to make a comparison which gloriously failed. They were like, now, imagine how it would feel like if someone made the same thing about European cultures, like mixing Spanish and Portuguese and German and Italian and Greek culture in one weird thing. We would find it weird as well and had problem with it, and other people said, no, not really. And we wouldn't care if you mixed European cultures together in a game. And the thing is, German culture, French culture, Italian culture, they aren't exploited. Whereas indigenous culture is being exploited and
erased.
Erased, because what we have now is an idea of this culture, but not the actual culture when we look at media. And whereas you can still get, media with actual German culture or Italian culture or Greek culture, but it's really hard for these indigenous cultures. So that's the important difference here. To
not just bash on the game, I do really like the the kind of a chain of production sort of idea, where you have raw resources that you can then refine. And I tend to really enjoy games where you have to really think about the final product that you want, that will get you the points that you need, and that you have to think about the chain of production in the process.
Yeah.
And it's great here that it sort of forces players to work cooperatively, at least in some extent, to trade their resources.
Yeah.
Quite fun.
Yeah. One thing to note, though, if you're thinking about, hey, I've seen a copy flying around somewhere, maybe I give it a try. It's not for you if you expect like a now I forgot the word. Engine building. There is no engine building in this game.
Just
the
worker
tents you
placement.
construct, they don't do anything. They just give you points, and the totem pole doesn't do anything. Providing food for your clan doesn't do anything except giving you points. Each turn you have the same options available than the one before.
Yeah.
So there is no engine building whatsoever. If that's a no-go, I've read some people online saying, "Oh, that really sucks and that's so boring." I like it, but if it's not for you, that's something to consider. And yeah.
Okay, that's clear enough. One question, since you brought it there, and then I think I'm okay with your review. Actually, very good. Thank you. The question is, you said there's no engine building, so the actions are repeated. The thing is, does initiative order vary in the game?
There is the option in this trading post. Several of the options there allow the one who visits the post to take the first player token. And so yes, it's not like every turn it moves one spot, but players can change the order.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is important because in a worker placement game, usually you fight for space.
Yes.
And if you have an engine builder, you can mitigate the lack of space with your action being more powerful. But if you can purposefully alter the turn order and plan around that, then there's planning. There's enough planning in a game. So this is good. I guess that fans of worker placement can appreciate this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's my turn?
Probably, yes.
Okay. We will talk about the All King's Crown, which is actually a game that was talked about in the last months, even by us. Actually, I brought it up at least a couple times, Fan another couple times. So it's a great game. I will spend less time than Cara too talking about it because we are on the clock. No worries. It's not that a game is more important than others, but let's talk about the All King's Crown. The All King's Crown was a Kickstarter game by Pablo Clarky, designed by Pablo Clarky and distributed and published by Eerie Idol Games, which are, I think, all Scots. So when we talk about the All King's Crown, and we know that the All King's Crown was a game 6 years in development by a single author, which is also the author of the beautiful artwork, I think, of the beautiful artwork of the game, which is pretty inspiring and evocative. You understand that this is mostly a labor of love. Amongst the sources quoted in the Kickstarter is the sonnet Ozymandias that I read in original language, but I won't try to mangle here. So go if you don't know about it, go ahead and read it. But it talks about the statue of an old king and the decadence of an empire. The story of this game is that the historical king of an ancient kingdom has gone missing, just vanished, disappeared in some mysterious circumstances. It has happened a while ago, and at this point the current factions are assessing their options and they are thinking of a succession. In the game, 2 to 4 players, there is a solo mode which is also excellently made but is an entirely different thing. In the 2 to 4 players vie for control of the kingdom, and their goal is to acquire just enough victory points, which are I'm stuck with favor, but it's not favor, it's influence. They are gathering influence, which are the victory point currency of the game. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most influence wins. This is easy. The game is played 4 to 6 turns, decided in advance. The game puts the standard duration of a game in 5 turns, and 4 turns is a fast game, and 6 turns is an extended game. This is important in some faction economy and action economy, so it's a thing that should be discussed before starting to play. The game is expected to last a couple of hours in the end. I had games way longer than that, but they were always fringe cases with a lot of action, of analysis paralysis and stuff like that, because I will talk about it anyway. In this game you have 4
Sorry. I just wanted to mention that the art style is really cool for this game. Every single card and little elements have all of those little golden drawings and stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah, the game is a labor of love. It's really done through and Pablo Clarke, this is a fun fact maybe, he illustrated every single thing of the game. You look at the game board, which is a lot of stuff. You get at game cards which are tarot sized. There is I'll find them because my storage is the plain box storage, which is pretty good actually. But here, this is the artwork for the game. Everything is illustrated that way.
So I'm doing a very hot take here. I think it's really pretty, but it's too busy for me.
Okay, yes, it's I said that it reminded me a lot of Sir Barry Windsor Smith for Weapon X without the gore, but I had friends telling me that it remembers the drawings of Meeple, so I think that this is kind of the art style. Yes, it's a bit busy. Luckily, it's done in good taste, so I think it can be appreciated because it's, like you said, is cute. Now, for someone it will be gorgeous because of the artwork, of course. The player boards are a bit more elegant, still a bit busy, but not that much. Yeah. Yeah, well, less is better in design, right? So, in this game, at the base you have 4 asymmetric factions, but I'll start with telling you about the game because the game is very simple. Basically it is a lane battler, meaning that each turn you have 3 lanes, like in Shot and Totten or in Compile or in other games, Ireland and Sea for instance, or Marvel Snap Online. You have these lanes, and you play cards to this location. Then you resolve the locations, and depending on what is on the cards, the faction with the most power wins. And with that, they win usually 1 or 2 influence points, but there are circumstances in which you can gain more. And this is one of the things that the game does excellently. There is no runaway leader because the point window is very narrow, meaning that a game of 5 turns will end with 14-15 points, which means that the winner will be maybe 16 points, the second place will be 15, the third place will be 13. They won't be very far away by design. And this is one thing I like, because you might, you can, there is no need to catch up, because you can always do the right thing and still be in the game. That of course means that every action counts, and that leads a bit to analysis paralysis, but I'll get to that. The cool thing about this game, which is basically a lane battler, like I said, is the way the faction interact and act. Because the game is divided in turns, and these turns are divided in 4 seasons. It is like medieval campaign games, where you get the spring, where you basically prepare for the warfare in summer, where you have the clashes, then you have the fall, when you govern the lands that you basically manage to conquer at the end of the summer, and then you have winter, when you basically clean up and prepare for a new year. You do that every round is a year. At the end of the year, so you count the points and you have the winner. The cool thing is that there are kingdom cards that are modifiers to the basic to the basic behavior of the 3 lanes, and they give you permanent powers. These powers are very simple and clear, and can be activated in any of the seasons, because you get powers that get activated in just in spring, just in winter, just in autumn, just in summer. Summer basically is just for fights. All of this small simple combination lead you to action chains that can be mixed and matched to get an emergent storytelling, because there is a lot of the element of the game is the setting. Actually, you get, when you play, you get the feeling that you are interacting in a decadent kingdom. Like, it's splendid. It gives you a bit of the looks you can get from the Scottish Highlands, when you see these magnificent castles, but it is stone, there is a bit mossy, with just the hint of grandeur and decadence. It's beautiful in a way, and when you play, you feel like you are constructing a story by playing your envoy to a kingdom, to a place in the kingdom, when you get this benefit, which is very fitting, and it activates with your asymmetric faction power and so on. Now, the asymmetric factions. You have 4 factions in the game. I will arbitrarily divide them in easy-to-play factions and hard-to-play factions. The 2 easy-to-play factions are the nobility and the clans. The nobility are basically the status quo of the game. They are the nobles of the old kingdom. They want to preserve the status, and basically you play them for high defense, for powerful knights, and to allow yourself to automatically win bits. There are powers, I'll talk about powers in a while. They are the faction for exerting control and power, basically. The clans are the exiled, like the northern clans of the United Kingdom. They are those who lost the fight for power with the old king, and now that the old king is gone, they are trying to return to their factions. So they are very mobile, they can deploy power fast, and they can move out fast when they need. They can change battlefields, they can do stuff like this. These are the 2 easy-to-play factions. I'd say that in the end, for an extra player, maybe the more limited is the nobles, but I have almost 20 plays at this game now, so I think I have a good impression of the game, but still, I'm learning, so. Then there are the 2 hard factions, the Uprising and the Gathering. Basically, they are the people, the reds, and the mages, the purple faction. The people, the uprising, is revolutionaries that want to take advantage of the lack of the power vacuum to install a new order. And by that they have mobs, they have a lot of assassins, they play with spies, they are a bit of a technical faction, but they lack in raw firepower, and they are a bit in the need that the others fall in their schemes. Meaning that in this game you have the individual cards which represent one individual, one noble, one strong player, which are always strong cards which do a lot of things. And there are the cards that represent the mob. So a lot of people, a mass of people, they are not that strong, not as strong, not with a lot of powers, but they have this peculiarity that cannot be killed by assassins. The assassins are basically specialized cards, which are one in each deck, except in the uprising they have 3 of them. Meaning that in a clash with uprising, you are always looking for where there will be deploying the assassins. Meaning that when you see a few cards of the red stacked in one clash, you will know that there will be probably a trap. Now, after the uprising, I will talk about the Gathering. The Gathering is the weird faction of the mages. It's a cult, basically. They start very weak, and with the progression of the game, they get stronger. They manage to do that by acquiring powers, and because basically when you play, the cards killed get in the lost pile, which is a common discard. They can rise cards from the lost pile, meaning that the more cards are in the lost pile, the better they become at endless clashes and in using power and influence and actions from the lost pile and everything from everyone. So much that maybe I could say that I always saw 6 stars games that always went won by the Gathering. I think there were close matches, but in the end, longer games are won by Gathering by default with skilled players. Anyway, the 2 things that I love about this game and why I'm here recommending it now. The first thing is how smart it plays. Basically, every turn, the player with the most influence leads the turn order, and there are actions that are done in turn order and then actions that are done simultaneously, so that basically having the advantage of turn order is usually an advantage, except in clashes. In clashes they are going in reverse turn order, and also there is you can do 2 things. One thing is to the player with the reverse with the fewest influence can decide in which order these clashes are resolved. Since the order of clashes gives you bonuses when they are resolved, and then they allow you to prepare last for the clash, it means that basically this is the built-in catch-up system, basically, because the player with advantage will have a strong lead and will have lead until then, but at that point you can they will have to deploy equally everywhere, because in the end the player with less victory points will decide, no, we resolve this first, and they can concentrate the forces in the fields they want to win the most. So it's a bit of bluffing and a bit of making other locations interesting. You have a token which is your herald, which you can use in one battlefield each summer to strengthen the claim you have, to enhance your power and make you gain more victory powers if you win there. But if you lose with the herald in there, you give 1 extra victory point to the opponent. This means that with proper bluffing, proper planning and proper risk taking, you can get up to 5 victory points from a single location, and at the end of the game you will plan for that, meaning that the game is always open and a good play can always come. I said the second part that makes this game cool, and then I can make my one sentence review of the game. The second part is the asymmetric player powers, meaning that the player powers are asymmetric. You have basically 4 powers for each faction, which are every single of them is game changing. One of them is like the ultimate. They have different conditions, places when they activate, and they all do very useful things, and they are completely asymmetric. They are the entirety of the cognitive load of the game. Because when you play, if you want to play in any meaningful strategic way, then you have to understand what you can do there and what everyone else can do there. This is the scariest part of the game, because you always need to know these 4 player powers for each player playing, and then you need to know what every kingdom card does. You need to read, you need to understand. This is the slowest part of the game, and this is your learning curve. And here we go to my one-line review of this game. This game initially feels like Root, aka the most beautiful game you don't have fun at. No, exactly. Root is a game where, and it's no coincidence that later games actually helped a lot with the development, because they were interested in the project, so they let hand, I think, directly Patrick Leder and Cold World. They are credited there, so I guess both of them helped with that. And it feels a bit in the breath of the project. What happens is that in Root, every player must do their job, otherwise the vagabond wins. Basically, every faction must play their faction. You cannot do whatever you please or whatever you think make you win in the short term, because there is always someone else who will take advantage of you not playing your role. So you need to play your role, and you need to leave others play your role. You could crash the cats. You don't crash the cats because you need them to bash the vagabond. You don't destroy the action economy. You don't destroy the eagles, because the eagles are needed to move around, bash and destroy the propaganda of the Woodland Alliance. The Alliance, you leave them be, but if they start building forts, you destroy them, because they will take more actions and they will be unstoppable, and so on. Root is a game where equilibrium is artificial, and the game does nothing to help you keep the balance. So it's a task for every player, and like every task, it feels a bit like work. So you end up not having fun, because the big play that turns everything around, you cannot do that ever. And this is my small review of Root. I love Root. I love it since the inception. No, not the inception of Mercenaries. I think that there is a limit in how these kind of games are designed, and they are showed a lot by Root. In the end, it's fun to play, but you have to have the right group. This is not the same with All King's Crown, because in All King's Crown at the beginning you will have a lot to learn, you will be scared to make errors, there will be players with analysis paralysis. I think that the first 2 plays of the game will be slow, but the settings will make up, because seeing the story emerge from what you do, it's probably enough to keep you entertained. And if you survive the first 2 or 3 games, you start having fun, and here you can make the smartest play to wreak havoc everywhere, because when the uprising manages to put a bluff, to make a trap, and everyone falls in it, and you make 5 victory points when you were expected to make 1 or none, then that's the best feeling in a competitive game. I like lame butlers, I like influence playing, I like bluffs. This game is beautiful. The one thing is, at the beginning, it could not feel like that. It's a game excellently made. It has a lot of balance, possibly excluding the nobles, which falls a bit behind when everyone knows what to do. But this is a great game to have. And I'm bringing it up here because in March there will be the reprint with expansion, 2 new factions. And I'm probably stating what I think it's not a lot controversial, but it's worth saying anyway. This game has 1 expansion at the moment, the Wild Kingdom. The Wild Kingdom is basically 12 different modules. I still did not play them because the base game is oh so much. And if a game of a lame butler after 20 games still feels like you should not expand it, then that is a great game. And so this is it. It's all King's Crown. Of course, an investment in your time, an investment in your learning curve, but I think an investment that will repay itself. Very fun, very evocative. It has a bit for everyone at the cost of a steep learning curve.
So, since I criticized the art, the art it's gorgeous, just busy. But when I looked at pictures of board, there's one thing I want to point out that actually might make up for the busyness of the art. The turn order, the turn structure is on the main board. Like there's this marker that says, okay, now we are here, and it's not just it says the face, but also in Cliff Notes what's happening now in this phase. So that's instead of everyone having like an overview card, hey, how's the turn structures? No, it's just on the board, and you can move the marker, and everyone sees, oh, we are at this point now.
Yeah.
So no, oh wait, I didn't pay attention. What are we doing now? No, you can just look at the board. It says right there.
Yeah, but this is actually a very smart observation because yes, one thing I forgot to mention is that the board state is very readable. I played over TTS, Tabletop Simulator, a couple. The Tabletop Simulator mod is free and available from the Old King's Crown website, so you can try it before you buy. And whenever you join, whenever you get to look at it, it's made for online play. I mean, you can understand exactly what's going on. Of course, with knowing that everyone is trying to stab at you, cheat on you, try to have a diplomacy. Yeah, of course, this is par for the course, but this is what you get with the game. Except that the game is very readable and a lot of effort has been done. Of course, you also get the sheets for recap of everything. The solo mode is excellent. I had one play of the solo mode. It feels a bit different, so it's something that you have to play. But I think that the simulacrum is called. It's done pretty excellently as a game. It's still fun and interesting. It runs a bit long for being a solo mode, but it's a bit more than an hour of play. But I think when you for comparison in size, this is the size of the game box, which is a bit big. So for a game this big, I think that 1 hour of game in solo is expected and welcome, possibly. In the end, it's all fun.
Great. It does look very interesting. So long as it's not, it seems a little bit heavy to get to play. Like, how long does a game last? I don't think that you've said.
Your first games will very likely exceed 2 hours, especially at full player count. But I think that 4 expert people can play in 90 minutes, setup included, because in the end the game is a lame butler. So all the difficulty comes because nobody wants to feel stupid at the table, meaning that if you are doing something, you will always double check. Oh, what you can do in this case? Okay, you are doing this. Oh, I forgot this kingdom card, and so on. So there will be a bit of analysis paralysis because you feel the tension of each decision. After a bit, when you can get going, it gets better. But I think the first 2 or 3 games will be possibly more boring than needed. That's something to be told. I struggled a bit at the beginning, not because I didn't understand it, but because my regular play group of this kind of games consists of a lot of people who want to win, and we had the season last like 12 minutes, which is an exaggerate amount of time. This is it. Anyway, I was under the wrong impression, because when you get good at this game, you do spectacular stuff with basically everything. Like I said, I have a personal dislike for the novels, but that's personal. In the beginning, everything is strong, and actually the novels won their fair share of games, so possibly it's balanced. That makes me wonder what Pablo Clark, because it's single designer, single artist, what he will invent for the 2 new factions, because I feel there's like no need. I think, how many games do you have to have done to feel bored with a starting 4? I don't know, maybe 6 player count. I still don't know if there's need for that either. Well, anyway, we'll see. We'll wait and see. March, I think 26th or something like that. Songs of Home expansion for All King's Crown reprint, and a recommendation for me. That's it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, so I guess that this is all we have for today. You can catch us up at a website, because Cara doesn't like that we report our coordinates. Okay, we are on Patreon, so please catch us up. Throw $2 our way. We will be grateful. And listen to us on Spotify or wherever. We try to be present. We try to update everything on Board Game Geek. Drop us a line. You find us on Board Game Arena if you want. And we'll be always there. It's a goodbye from Cara.
Bye.
Alexis.
From Belgium, goodbye.
Yeah, and from me. And remember that the second E stands for... we need to stop this. Really. Really.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I am addicted. I don't know. We put something in post-production. I don't know. We never put something in post-production.